Hello, y'all. This is the TheKCentralshow, and I am Central Booking.
I am K. Cram.
Special guest 42nd in the house.
Mr. 42nd, what's up?
What's going on, baby? What y'all doing?
AKA, man, you been rocking with Rick Ross for a long time, man.
Hey.
Yeah, but I ain't faking it like him, man.
Oh, shit. See, here you go again.
That's what happens, man. You get people like P. Diddy saving your ass. You was on your way down. Then Puff Daddy come and save your sorry ass,
Is this New York talk? See, this New York talk, y'all.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Hey, man, what's up with this, what's going on with this Donald Trump stuff, man, this church stuff? What's going on with this, man?
Yeah, I did see him on the news today, that he had met with 150 ministers of the black church.
Mr. 42nd, you hear about that?
I heard about it, but I hadn't paid too much attention to it. But I was listening to D.L. Hughley today.
What was he saying about it?
And basically, he had a question that he posed. He said, with your church meeting with Donald Trump, does that make you get closer to Trump or further away from the church? And of course, the answer was obvious that it got them further. They said they was getting further away from the church, because they figured that those guys were just selling out the church and they was just doing it for Donald Trump bucks.
That makes a lot of sense, though.
But ain't that what the church is about anyway? Bucks?
Well,
because I never thought that you would really find God there anyway.
See, it ain't like you gonna go to church anyway, Central Booking. This is the last time you stepped into church.
Shoot, last time I stepped in church, I don't.
He don't even remember.
This the pot calling the kettle black. No, three of us don't go to church for crying out loud, man. Well, see, I'm not a Christian. I'm a Muslim.
Well, why you don't, with Mr. 42nd? Why you don't go to church?
Man, I don't have to go to church to believe in God, man. I'm just going to keep it real with you. I believe in God, and I don't have to go to church to do it. And I'm just keeping it real. I don't have to go to church to do it. I mean, most of the people that I go to church with, the masjid, as you might call it, man, are some of them, I ain't going to lie, man. Astaghfirullah, God forgive me, whatever, but they're some of the most corrupt people that I have ever gone with.
Ain't you kind of like, for saying that, ain't you kind of like... Muslim?
Yeah, I am. I am a Muslim. I ain't Muslim. I'm Muslim.
Okay.
And the thing is,
why would you say that?
I'm saying that because it's the truth, man.
Because I
throwing your people under the bus. Why would you throw your people under the bus, man?
No, you throwing my people under the bus. I'm just telling the truth about my people. I'm not saying that my people ain't good peoples. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that from what I've seen.
Okay.
From what I've seen of them, all it's told me is that you don't have to go to church to believe in God. You don't. You don't have to pray. You don't have to go to the mosque to believe in God. I mean, if you really believe in God,
I might need church though.
You might need it. I mean, it's good to always hear.
Hold on, but I might need the pastor. I might need some guidance. Everybody ain't self-reliant like that. Some people might feel like, hey man, I need somebody to teach me the word or help me bring me to some type of spiritual enlightenment. Mr. 42nd, just because you all up and high and mighty and better than everybody, and you read or whatever. What do you read?
I'm not.
Do you pray?
First of all, I'm the last person to say that I'm high and mighty than anybody. And more likely, there's probably people that's listening to this right now and probably saying you probably the first person that need to be sitting in somebody's church listening to somebody's word. They'll probably be saying that.
Okay.
But I'm saying that I haven't been to a church or a masjid or a service in quite a while, and so far so good. I haven't lost my mind. I'm not out here doing anything crazy. I'm not being
sure.
Trust me, I'm sure.
Just nothing we know about.
No, trust me. I mean, most people that always swear down that they need church and they, like you said, they need guidance or something like that.
Some people feel like that.
Believe me, man. I mean, I think they're just so gone that the best that the church can do for them is to make them 3/4 sane or 1/8 sane, something like that.
I get where you're coming from.
Yeah,
it makes a lot of sense.
It doesn't make them.
It seems like a lot of these people are kind of weak.
Yeah, exactly. And the church is only maybe keeping them from killing us today. That's what it's doing. It's keeping them from doing that today, and they ain't even working for some of us because some of us are out there shooting people in France. And I want to bet you a lot of them were masjid and churchgoers, you might say. Some of them, you know what I mean? So, so the thing is, to turn around and just say that you go to church or go to a masjid or synagogue, to say that you just do that, to say that you just do that doesn't save you or doesn't make you a righteous person.
It's not supposed to anyway. you know, those places offer prayer. Once, really. You know, now, from what I used to study Islam. You know what I'm saying? I went to church and Christianity and all of that.
Were you righteous?
Always.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? But what God told me, because that's how I see that. What God told me is you don't need this, just like you.
Right.
But it was given to me like you don't need this. You know, and in reality, Islam is a disciplinary religion.
Right.
Now, when did you get Central? When did you get out of the church? If you was in the church,
I wasn't in the church. It was like an off and on kind of thing.
It was an off and on
kind of thing.
Okay.
Being with my baby's mom, you know, her family being into the church every once in a while, I would go. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like I was.
But you smoked a blunt. You said, "Damn that, I'm not doing this shit no more."
Hey,
I get it.
Hey.
I get it. I get it.
Hey, you gotta do what you gotta do. Okay. You know what I'm saying? You gotta do what you gotta do. But being more serious, you know what I'm saying? You know, God was just like to me, especially when I was in Islam, that you didn't need this. You don't need this. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You're kind of disciplined enough that this is not going to help you any more than it has been.
So you don't think the church is doing people any services? I mean, or do you think church is holding society back, fellas? Do y'all think church is kind of holding us back from kind of advancing? Do you think we still, as a people, we're not civilized enough to let this go and advance to the next civilization?
I think it incorporates.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
I got what you're saying, and I think when it incorporates is unnecessary fear. Let me restate that. Unnecessary fear. There's nothing wrong with having healthy fear.
Okay.
Unnecessary fear is, you know, if you belch without saying God bless me, you think you're gonna get struck by lightning. Okay, and that's the type of lessons.
Yeah, man, you got a lot of people.
And that's the type of lessons that get taught, unfortunately, in the church. And, you know, and it's like, well, daggone, I can't even breathe right. When, you know, if I breathe or if I sneeze and say, if I don't say God bless you, lightning's gonna strike me down. And you know what I mean? And that's the problem is with the church. Is that if I'm answering your question correctly, I think that's how it's holding you back. It's holding you back by using that unnecessary fear, that sort of medieval type of way of basically, you know, congregating to the masses or to the flock. You know what I mean?
Because the Bible was written in a total different time.
I'm tired of being told I'm gonna go to hell. Look, if I'm gonna go to hell, I'm going to hell.
You going?
But I'm not going to hell because I listened to a little Kim record. I mean, come on. I mean, you know, that doesn't mean
I'm not letting you in heaven if I was God. You definitely going.
You the reason why they invented hell in the first place. Nah, you know, you the reason why they invented it. The Revelations, it says see creme.
What you think about that, Central? Though? I mean, do you think it holds society
I think
back?
it does hold us back because you're still going on a teaching that is not up to date. Okay. You know what I'm saying? I think.
Well, how has it held you back? Do you think religion did it hold you back when you were practicing?
No, because like I said,
so you just did what the fuck you wanted to do. Anyway.
No.
What you trying to say?
No. What I'm telling you is it showed me an elevation that you have a way of thinking. You understand, of being a righteous person, of thinking and being righteous, that you don't need to hear this old bullshit.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying to you?
I get you.
You don't need to hear this old bullshit in order to be a godly person. You understand? Or to be a righteous person who helps other people, who consoles other people. You know what I'm saying? So it helps to guide other people in their times of need. You understand? And I think we put too much of a crutch on that. You know what I'm saying? When you're getting old teachings.
Old teachings.
You know
but
what
I mean,
I'm saying?
ain't this kind of what the a lot of the alternative lifestyles is saying, the transgender people, a lot of that saying, you know, or the other what they call quote unquote alternative lifestyle is saying, listen, this book is holding us back from being who we are because we're condemned in this book.
True enough.
Rebelling is more what they're doing. That's
true enough, right.
Yeah, they're more
now,
rebelling.
I'm sure. Now, I'm not trying.
I'm not rebelling.
I'm just asking the question.
My thing is, with that.
Oh, yeah, you're very rebellious.
With that, you know what I'm saying? It was in the Bible, but yes, it's old teachings. The other part of it is that is this the way that the world should be going? You understand what I'm saying? And I mean this. Okay, the acceptance of homosexuality, bestiality, and whatever other things are out there that we shouldn't be doing in the first place. But we're now accepting of it. Is that really part of the religion that you claim that you want to have held on to as a gay person or transgender person, that you want this God to accept you any way that I am just because the Bible says so?
Okay, but fellas, I got a question. If we let religion go, and I'm not the most religious person in the world, but if we let religion go, let's say we let it go, then in society, what guides us through society? How are we going to be guided through society? If we let everything go, okay, we let religion go, there's no God, we all become atheists, then how do we establish right from wrong?
Laws of nature do that, man. I mean, as life goes on in the beginning, basically there's certain things that you learn through trial and error, what to do and what not to do. And basically, and as time goes on, you realize that there's a structure that is built upon structure from what you learned and what you don't learn. And basically, you would hope that that structure comes from what you call an intelligent design or a supreme being. You would say that structure came from there. But even if you don't believe in intelligence, you believe that there's certain way things have to be done, positive and negative. Yeah. You cannot turn around and put a positive wire onto a negative post of a battery, or it's going to blow up. You see what I'm saying? There's just certain ways that nature is going to work. Electricity and nature is going to work a certain way. You got to be able to breathe in and out of your lungs in order to live. You got to have blood in your body in order to live. You got to have, your brain's got to be functioning at a certain level in order to have a sense of coordination.
Are you sure about that?
We'll get to that in a little bit, but you get what I'm saying. So nature on Earth teaches us. Now we say, well, that nature is God because it was God that's basically sending us message through that nature. And you could probably say that. So you could probably say that that's what Jesus taught. That's what the Prophet Muhammad taught. That's what Musa taught, Moses. That's what he taught. That basically, if you basically do things in a certain order, your life will be better. And I have no problem with that. Your life would be more prosperous than if you just run around here cutting chickens' heads off, praying to some daggone statue or a golden calf. So so basically, to answer your question, that's
I got you. What you think about that, Central? What do you think?
I think in this way,
yes, nature will balance itself.
Yes, that nature will, but also that we also look at this thing like he was just saying. People cutting chickens' heads off, paganistic, ritualistic religion also came out of this too. You know what I'm saying? And not to say, because I've seen some of that and witnessed some of that for myself. Some of that kind of religion.
You were in Africa.
Yeah.
As a kid, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And some of that kind of religion healed me. The nature itself. You understand what I'm saying?
Because you were a sickly kid before you went to Africa, right?
Right.
Now,
so you can't put everything down.
Go into how you were healed. Go into how you healed.
Well, I had gotten sick in Africa when my dad took me and my family.
But you was sick. No, but you was sick. But you was sick before, right?
Yeah, I was already sick as far as with a kidney disease.
And you went to a herbalist, right?
No.
What did you go to?
It was my dad's great grandmother that he ended up finding in Africa. You know what I'm saying? Now, like I said, when I was in Africa, I got sick, feverish. You know what I'm saying? Right. Or whatever. And she saw that and asked my dad, could she give me some medicine to heal me? You know what I'm saying? He wasn't that sure, but he was like, yeah, I'm going to let you do that.
And then healed your kidneys too, right?
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So you can't put all things you know what I'm saying, as a, these things don't work, or, that's devilish. You know what I'm saying? Because it was a pagan ritual that she did to me. You know what I'm saying? By praying for me, pouring certain things on me, oils and medicines and things, and it helped me. You know what I'm saying? I'm not to say that, you know what I'm saying, it might have helped everybody. It might not have, but it might have. You know what I'm saying? But that was the magic of Africa and what they believed. Okay. You understand? Because they don't believe in Christianity or Islam in that way.
Certain parts of
right. Now, certain parts of them do believe
that
in
part
Islam,
you was in did.
But right.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Or they did have people there who did. You know what I'm saying? But like they were in a village, outside of the city, where they believe in their own things, that the gods are in the trees and the grass and the ground and the water and things.
Right,
like that.
God is everything.
Right.
God is
You understand?
God is connected with the universe.
Right.
The universe is God.
Right.
That makes sense. Now, I'm gonna talk about my experience in the church. I'm gonna make it real short. Had a great time. My aunt made me go to church a lot. And it was a lot of, breastises that I enjoyed. And I got hugged a lot. And I got a lot of affection. And Louise, if you ever hear this, thank you.
You going to hell, man.
For all the hugs you gave me. Me and my cousin, we got plenty of peaks. We enjoyed it. And that's why I ran to hug you so many times after choir practice.
Here comes that bolt of lightning.
But anyway, as far as now the church itself as an institution, fellas, I want to go above. Now, you basically have all agreed that to an extent, if you're a religious fanatic, it holds you back.
Right.
And a lot of people who don't know how to balance religion from being fanatical to using it to improve yourself.
Exactly.
Right. So do you think that, but don't you think that's the goal of the church a little bit? Because of the business of the church?
Yeah, probably. You need a flock.
Is that your opinion? You think?
Yeah, that is my opinion. I actually agree with that. That I think that for some of them, for a lot of them, I hate to say it is the goal, because what you need, because especially in a capitalistic society, you need money and you need people to give money and give to the church, and to basically, or the masjid, you want to give sadaqah to the masjid or tithes to the church. You know what I mean? And for the Jewish, I don't know what they do, but it basically, you definitely need people to basically be around you a lot, and it kind of goes back to that Donald Trump thing. Was it a wise thing for those pastors to meet with Donald Trump, because aren't they afraid that they're going to wind up losing some of their flock?
And Bush did the same thing, remember? Remember when he was running his campaign, he went to all the black churches?
Right.
Remember that? Because we were in Ohio at the time.
Yeah.
And that shocked me, like, because up until then, I never paid attention to politics like that. And he went to the church, and does the church have that much influence and power?
Yes.
Come on. Why do you think they call it church and state?
Judeo-Christian philosophy. Based on Judeo-Christian philosophy. They say Magna Carta, but Constitution was basically based on Judeo-Christian philosophy.
Oh, was it?
If you look at the what's that? The Declaration of Independence. It's basically I forgot how that goes. I'm sorry, y'all. I forgot how that goes. I think deliver us from evil, something like that.
Because I'm looking at all the wars we got going on in France, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's religious, right? The war.
Yeah, because really it's ISIS against Christianity.
Well, it's not. It's ISIS that actually started the wars. Because Christianity didn't really start the war. They actually went on the attack. Now they would say that it's a war. They would say that it's more of a war for internationality plus Islam plus religion. They would say it's a combination of things. It's a war for nationality, religion, and they established themselves as a caliphate, as a sort of a nation, an army to be reckoned with. That's more how they think of themselves. I think people who don't understand it, we're the ones that just thinking it's just an Islamic thing, and it's not. If you really listen to these ISIS psychos, this is what they tell you. It's more, this is what they feel they have to do in order to establish themselves an identity, because they felt that identity was ripped off through history and destroyed through colonialism, and just a whole bunch of corruption that came through colonialism, or just corruption that came from the sheikhs and the shahs and the caliphs themselves, and so they feel that this is the best way to establish it. Now, of course, you'd have to be a maniac to think that anybody's going to listen to you, but it does reach certain people, because no matter how you think about it, they are there are people that are going, hey, look, they are getting somewhere. Look, they've already snatched the oil, and they're selling stolen oil from Syria, from certain parts of Syria and Iraq. Yeah, they're already selling stolen oil. They've already made moves, and even though the military is chasing them down, they can't find them, and they're still able to recruit, and they're still able to do this stuff. So that's
my thing is on that too. You know what I'm saying? Aren't they going against the Dean of Islam?
Well, it's not.
What I'm saying?
It's not about the Dean. Not with them.
Okay,
they use.
That's the problem.
They use that. They use that. Whatever gets what Krim is saying. Whatever kind of gets it going. If you can use quote unquote God in order to get to reach somebody, to reach somebody to get their attention, then that's how you start. But at the end, if you look at ISIS or if you look at these extremist groups, you realize that it's more about a powerhouse. Jim Jones, it was more about an army. It was about a powerhouse. It was about him having an army. That's what it was about. And
so you're saying in the reality of it's not about religion at all.
No, that's the way I see it, man.
Fellas, man, I mean, honest, this is a good conversation. It's really motivating me to want to start a church now. I'm not religious.
Tax free, huh?
Yeah, man. I mean, if people gonna just
there's a lot of money in it.
If people gonna just blindly follow, man, I need to get my preaching skills up, man. But, go ahead. What was you saying about the whole ISIS thing, man? That's very interesting. What you were saying.
Well, my thing, like I said, is that. Like what I just said, man, it's more nationalistic for them. They want to establish themselves. They use the word caliphate, but they want to establish themselves as a nation, and they want to establish themselves as something of a new civilization, a new group of people that a country that you have to deal with,
Right.
And so that's why they're calling themselves the Islamic State of Iraq and Syria. They're trying to establish themselves as the Islamic nation that you have to deal with. They're using the Islamic as an umbrella, but they basically want to be a nation, sort of what Saudi Arabia is now and what Iran is now. Now they want it to be ISIS, sort of like what the Persians did when they had it all. But now It's going to be ISIS. It's going to be this nation, and the West is going to have to deal with them as a nation. And they figure that this is the best way to do it.
Okay, Central Booking. Now, outside of that, I'm going to ask you a personal question, as usual. Now, you're not religious. You're not in the church anymore.
No.
So, I mean, as far as your life, how do you guide your life? I mean, now at this point, since you've been out of church, how do you look at morality now as a person trying to do the right thing?
As I've always have, I think. The thing of it is like I was telling you, I try to live more righteously. Hold on
now. I don't call pimping females living righteous. but go ahead, man. Go ahead.
If the females are being saved,
right? You know what I'm saying? Hey, any of them can tell you, Central saved my life.
Okay.
Iceberg Slim, he says, hey, you can go right back to where you were.
My thing is, it's about being a righteous person. You know what I'm saying? And the fact of the matter is that you're doing things in the right way. You know what I'm saying? As right as you can be. As far as helping someone without telling them.
Do you think religion is necessary, fellas? Do y'all think at this stage and point that we have with all the technology that's coming, how scientists are being more capable of saving your life?
Right.
Do you think at this point we need more science than religion?
I think I think religion has
with science and technology, right?
We shouldn't be afraid of science, but we should always have to remember, as a Muslim, the remembrance of God is what's important. Without being religious and practicing and all that stuff, as long as you can have the remembrance of God in your heart, remembrance of intelligence, someone that's a supreme being, I have no problem with that.
Man, but
I'm not afraid of science.
Listen.
I'm not afraid of science.
Okay, I'm about to break something down.
Now wait a minute.
Go ahead.
You were asking a question. Yeah. Now my thing is,
as far as
should we still have religion though we're having this? Yes, I believe that we should have some form of that religion, but it has to grow. You know what I'm saying? From what it is now. The reality is we're still living this old religion from medieval times.
That's right.
Medieval times.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And it has to grow from that. This world has changed.
It's changing.
Yes. You know what I'm saying? So it has to change. It's not to say to drop God off somewhere. You know what I'm saying? But it has to change.
Move along with
it. Right. It has to grow with us. We have grown truly in a way. We have grown above it. You know what I'm saying? As people. You know what I'm saying?
so.
Because of the things that we are accepting,
Especially
because
in
of the
Islam.
things that we are inventing through technology, because of the things that we're able to do with science and medicine. You know what I'm saying? It has to grow along with that. You know what I'm saying? Because those things were built out of God-fearing people.
That's
you,
right.
You understand? Those
Yeah,
things wouldn't have been made if they didn't believe
And
God was somewhere around it.
Exactly.
That, you know what I'm saying? I'm doing this in this righteous way. We need this medicine so that our children can live and what have you. We need these things. You know what I'm saying? So
a lot of people need Viagra. So I got it.
But that's for more children to be born. You
Right,
know what
yeah,
I'm
I
saying?
got
Not
you,
as
man.
well as just to enjoy sex. But these older guys want to go out here and get a younger woman and impregnate her. Well, I can get it up and do it.
Science. Now I was joking on that, but science.
Right.
Yeah, science.
You know what I'm saying?
But
So-
technology makes our lives easier. It's what we was talking about in the rap video about how we use the internet now to make our lives a lot easier when it comes to finding certain music and finding the kind of genre we want. Technology and science makes your life easier. You know,
Okay,
I mean, basically, I was,
Because if we was just being religious and praying all the time and we didn't apply technology to science,
we wouldn't, we
would still be sitting around on horse-drawn carts.
right.
If that
getting
was the
conquered,
case. Right.
like the Indians did, like the Africans, because people moved on with their technology. The gun overtook the arrow. We had spears and arrows, they had guns. Boom. Guess what? Who won that war? Technology is the ultimate winner.
Now, Mr. 42nd, if you were like a futurist and this was your world, and you had to design the next world coming up, the next 100 to 200 years, how do you see it going if it was up to you? I'm just asking you a personal question. This is a good question, man. I mean, how would you design the world? How would you see it going? How would you want it to go?
That's a tough
If
question.
it was just
man.
up to you.
That's a tough question, man.
And man, look, keep prostitution out of it. Answer the question straight and clear.
That's a tough question. I mean, because there's so many ways I can go with that. Basically, because if I say I wanted to go one way, I'd be a hypocrite, because all of a sudden there'd be something else that I forgot that I also like, and then I'd wanted to go that way, or also feel they have to go that way. So that's a tough question. I think basically my thing is, here's the way I look at it. I'm going to use it as something that's already existed. The Constitution.
Okay.
The Constitution basically pretty much gives people the right to basically make something of themselves.
Okay.
Here's a great example. President Obama. The man was born to a hippie tramp of a mother. Okay?
Oh damn! See, man, they gonna get us invested.
His father was a drunk and he wasn't shit. And his mother was a tramp.
Obama, I didn't say that. Man.
She was a tramp. But she had no idea that seed that she gave birth to would turn around and rule the most powerful nation in the world based on the Constitution, because the Constitution allows that. I think that's how I would build my world. I would build my world based on that.
Based on the Constitution.
Based on the Constitution, that there is no entitled people. There are no kings and queens. You have to earn your way in this world. Barack Obama was nothing. Now he's the president of the United States. You feel me?
Yeah.
Mike Tyson was nothing. He became heavyweight champion of the world. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Look at P. Diddy. I hate you, P. Diddy. I do. But he was nothing. But look where he's sitting at. 50 Cent. And the Constitution allows you to do that, man.
Look at Ebony Ash. She was in porn. Now she owns magazines.
Yeah,
She
did.
Yeah, and that shows
Ebony Eyes.
That shows anybody can really. I guess.
But that's answering your question.
Can be great.
Exactly. That's answering your question. Basically, that's the kind of world I would want to build.
And I just went to. I just went into the porn industry. Just as an example. Some of y'all will understand that. I think higher than that.
We know who Ebony Eyes is. Ain't nobody fronting here. We all had bathroom time with her. We all know
that. If you had to build a world, how would you build it? I mean, if you had to think of a world to start off with from today, how would you see it?
I think for me, it would be more. Now, Not to say that his world was wrong. That's the way he saw it.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But I think that if we go from now and try to go 200 years from now, you know what I'm saying? That whole system that he's talking about still has to elevate.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
I'm talking about elevate in that way that, okay.
What do you mean elevate?
I'm talking elevate as far as the fact, okay, now most things are based on the fact of, like he said, you get and do. You know what I'm saying? Well, who's to say that that's the way it's going to be 200 years from now? Technology takes us to another level. You understand what I'm saying to you? Those ways that he is talking about are going to be null and void. You'll be able to work your way up, but it'll be technologically advanced. Yes. To a point that we might not have to use our hands. We might not be boxing. You know what I'm saying? We might not be jumping up in the air and putting a ball in a hoop anymore.
That's true.
You understand what I'm saying? We might be flying around here in cars or flying. You know
we
what
might
I'm saying?
be like gods.
Right.
We may be able
understand, so
I'm thinking in the future, not cutting you off, we may even find a way to manipulate matter.
Right. And that's the world
what
I
I'm
would
thinking
like to
where
see.
we're going to.
That's the world I would like to see. I would
like
to be able to
look we're like gods.
Right. I would be able to look. I would love to be able to look at my hand and say, I want an apple.
And it just appears.
And it appears.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because that is the way that we should be focusing, that our minds are much stronger than we believe them to be.
Do you think when we, if we make it to this next civilization, do you think, fellas, religion will be around or will be no longer needed?
It'll look more like a cult than a recognized institution.
See, I don't think. Go ahead, sir.
I don't think it'll be around in that way. I think we'll still look at a higher being.
Right.
But I don't think we'll use those ritualistic ways anymore.
Good point.
You know what I'm saying? I don't think we'll be using those ritualistic ways of going to prayer. You know what I'm saying? Or what have you, of giving up tithes and things of that sort. We will be able to talk or express ourselves to that higher being.
Because compared to how we live today and the people who wrote the Bible, they would look at us as like gods now.
Yes.
We would be like gods. I mean, they wouldn't understand. We live in a total different reality.
You mean Shakespeare who wrote the Bible? Oh, I didn't say that. I'm sorry. Oops. Prim made me say that.
Pretty much.
Prim made me say that. I didn't say that.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Hey.
We would be like gods to that civilization.
Yeah.
We would be so foreign to them, and our total reality of what we face is totally different. I mean, some similarities as far as wars. I mean, I guess that's in human nature, but that may be gone. We may be warring a different way 200-300 years from now.
Probably.
So, I would come to a conclusion. You say,
well, we're going a different way now. I mean,
so you're saying, okay, go ahead. For what way are we going?
Well, I said, you said we're warring. I said we're warring in a different way now. We're not warring the way we used to.
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
I mean, look, we're not. The thing is,
drones.
we have a president now. The American people want him to send troops into certain countries, and he's like, I'm not going to send just a regular infantry into another country to invade because we're not fighting an enemy who's going to put on a uniform and fight us. They're going to meld into a crowd. So, like you said, now we're using drones. We got to use intelligence. We got to use special forces. We got to use spies that we have on the ground. We're warring in a James Bond type of way now. So yeah, you're definitely right when you say we're going to war in different ways. And I guess as far as our religion, we're going to probably see religion in a different way. We're going to see it more scientifically.
Yeah,
like Scientologists, I guess, but we're going to see it more scientifically now than we would as what you call supernatural unknown matter. We're not going to believe in the things of supernatural because our ability to discover the unseen is going to be more and more advanced.
So you think churches are pretty much going to be, in the next 200 years, not needed?
Well, not without a fight.
Man.
I mean,
Come
you
on,
say within it, it's going to be.
Somebody might hear this video 200 years.
But
from
it's
now,
going to be a fight though. You know, before that happens, because it might happen. People might move past the church, is what you're saying, and that I guess that's what we're getting at here, moving past it. But the thing is, are we comfortable moving past the church? And maybe 200 years from now, we might get to that point where we say, you know what? I think we could do this
without religion.
Without religion. Yeah.
What do you think, Central? Do you think 200 years from now we'll be totally past the church? I think you answered that earlier.
Yeah. I believe so. Or at least it won't be in the way that you see it now.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I think we will go past it. You know what I'm saying? And it won't be the same as what we know now. But if we do end up staying the same, I think we're just going to keep warring until we destroy this planet.
You think so?
Yeah.
It's either we're going to evolve or it's just going to be no more of us.
That's it.
In another 200 years, if we make it, because I think they're saying the next 100 years is a pivotal moment in mankind. This is like the making or breaking point.
Right.
And from the way it's going, fellas,
right now it looks like it's breaking.
You think so?
Yeah.
No, I just think it's taking its natural course myself. I believe that, like I said, we're fighting. We're fighting between old ideas and new ideas. And there's a fight going on.
So you think we're going through a transition?
Exactly. And you know, you got the old fogies that I guess that include us, who may have certain traditions that we're afraid to let go.
What? You're not that old, man. Stop.
You get what I'm saying. But I'm just saying because
well, we will be the old folks.
Yeah, you know. And then some of us will be complaining because one of the reasons why we always complain about the youth and the young is because they're doing things a lot different, or they're doing things. They're telling us that they don't need to do it the way we're showing them or the way we're doing it. You know, if you're a parent, I don't need to do it the way you was telling me to do it. I can do it this way.
Now, when it comes to hip hop, you're old fogey. Okay.
But I'm just saying. But the church is exactly the same way because I mean, what happens when the Gen Xers, all of a sudden these young folks these millennials start telling these Gen Xers, hey, look. I ain't trying to go to church. Yeah. Put the Bible down, put the Quran down, put the Torah down. I'm not trying to hear that. Every day you got Jews, Muslims, and Christians.
But listen, the millennials are different.
Yes,
they are a lot more accepting of things that we wouldn't accept.
Exactly.
So there is a now I'm with you on it 42nd. There is a transition going on.
Right.
You know.
But is it a good transition? Because these millennials they might be changing, but it's like they don't know shit. you understand? So is that good or bad? You understand what I'm saying to you? And if you're thinking that 100 years from now, you understand that?
I did say that.
I said that.
I think a hard head makes a soft behind. I used to hear that a lot. And I think that sometimes, my grandmother, may she rest in peace, said bought sense was better than told sense. And sometimes what you're talking about, Central, is mainly, more than likely, they may not know nothing, but bought sense is, they probably might have to learn through trial and error. Yeah. They probably have to learn through trial and error, but somebody's going to come through that and go, you know what? We can't continue to be this damn stupid. We can't. So here's what's going to happen. I'm going to take the ones that's with me and the rest of y'all can go and rot in hell and do whatever it is you're going to do. And some of y'all, I'm just going to smack into the right place. You know what I mean? Because
I think the economic system, man, I agree with you. The economic system is it's only going to allow you to be so stupid so
exactly.
long. You understand? It's only going to allow you to be so stupid so long. Right? The economic system.
Yeah.
Right? It's going to put you in your place.
Yeah.
And it's going to show you where you're at eventually. Just because how the system is set up. So you may have a point, but you're saying, Central, that they're so dumb. I mean, man, it's just going to be a rap, and all this.
Right.
And they're going to raise their kids to be even dumber.
Right.
And then by the time we get old people, we just in trouble.
Yeah.
I don't know. The baby boomers said that about us, Not as tough as the Gen Xers are saying about the millennials.
But see, the thing of that was, the baby boomers didn't give us anything anyway. They made us go out here and do it ourselves. You understand what I'm saying?
That's true to an extent.
They made us go out here and get it ourselves.
I guess that's going to have to be another subject of how we feel about the damn baby boomers.
Because what did they all say? I got mine. You better go get yours.
Goddamn baby.
But I'm not going to tell you how.
And
I
think they were the first ones also that didn't take church really serious.
Yeah.
I think they were the beginning of
but
this.
But they were forced to go to church.
Yeah, but they didn't really take it seriously. I think they didn't take it seriously. So I think it's kind of started with them. I think a lot of things started. I think the change did kind of start with them a little bit.
Right.
It may not be the change we like.
Right.
But I think it really kind of started with them from going from that old way. Mm-hmm. And of course, we all know technology is taking off now, just rapidly changing everything.
Yeah.
Fellas, it was a good show. It was enlightening. I'm more confused now than I was when we first started. So,
amen. Amen.
So, if anybody got anything, a good message out of this is that if you're a very religious person, look towards the future. Things is changing. We got to change with it, and we might have to look at the fact that if there may not be a church.
Right.
There may be a total different way that we praise God.
Yeah.
If we go out to the universe one day or find a way to manipulate matter, where does the church have in that?
Right.
And is there a lot of people who keeping these old institutions alive for profit?
Great question.
Because it's constantly being pumped.
So.
It's constantly being pumped. Just like, it's almost like if you think about gas and oil.
Yeah.
We really don't need that no more.
Right.
But because these big gas and oil companies are making so much money, it's constantly being what?
Yeah, being pushed in our face. And
that
being told that we need it.
And on that, y'all, got anything to say, Mr. 42nd, real fast before we get out of here, man?
No,
You're looking
really.
like you're kind of angry, like we didn't let you talk.
No, y'all let me talk more than enough. Anyway, I just say that as long as it's not illegal to have a church, then I guess then I'm fine with the future. But as long as you're okay, if you're ridiculed for believing in God, that's one thing. But if you're persecuted for believing in God, that's going to be something else. And that's where that could wind up leading if we decided that the church is the wrong, that the way we're believing in God is the wrong direction to believe in God. So as long as it's not illegal, then I don't, then I'm more or less with what you call the progression of moving forward, and maybe even moving past the church, because I ain't gonna lie to you. You get church, from remembrance of your lessons. 5%ers always say the lessons. I'm not 5%, but you get your church from your lessons and stuff like that. As long as you can remember what's right and what's wrong, to do the right things, then you're being spiritualized every day, and you're being taught by God every day.
And on that, y'all, I hope somebody learned something, because I don't know what this nigga was talking about. It's K-Central Show. I'm K-Cram.
I'm Central Booking.
42nd special guest.
And we out.
One.
Peace.
Later.